Good morning. First of all, I like to thank Dr. Lokesh, Principal, and Sri Nagaraj, IQAC Coordinator, GFGC Chennaraipatna, for inviting me to deliver a lecture on research report writing. So we start with the topic, introduction. Basically, we need to know what are the rules and regulations to be followed to write a research report. That's very important. Is it original or not? The research what you are doing is original or not? How the content need to be organized, etc. And for an effective report, at least the 4 characteristics are necessary. They are focus, accuracy, clarity, conciseness. That is, an effective report emphasizes the important information, does not mislead the reader, does not confuse the reader, and does not waste the reader's time. These are all very important things you have to take care of while writing the report. So we discuss the 2 formats of the report, that is, for thesis or dissertation is one, and for journal article is another one. Usually for thesis or dissertation, the content needs to be much more elaborated, explained in detail, and have to write in a comprehensive manner. But for journal article, need not to be that much elaborated, but it has to be precise and concise information should be provided. For thesis or dissertation, firstly, very important to notice that what kind of research it is, whether it is a quantitative research or qualitative research. So depending on quantitative or qualitative research, your organization of information or methodology, what we call, would differ based on whether it is a quantitative or qualitative research. So we start from the preliminary pages. So for quantitative or qualitative research, the preliminary pages remains the same. So not much change in the preliminary pages. So usually preliminary page contains a title page. In that title page, title, degree requirement or report for what you are writing, and then university name or institution name, author's name, then supervisor's name if it is a thesis or dissertation, obviously. For different kind of reports, sometimes supervisor won't be there, so only you will be an author in that case, so you only write your name only, and department details and year, maybe month and year. Next, acknowledgement. So in this part you are covering you are thanking all the people who are in support to bring out your research, including your supervisor. Next, supervisor certificate. So in that certificate, he will certify that the research what you have done is new and correct. Next, table of contents will be there, and list of tables if the tables are there in the report. Similarly, list of figures, again if the figures are in the report. Maybe in some cases some abbreviations or list of symbols were necessary, so some people will include at their own in the separate page, or sometimes they will define in the middle of the report itself wherever it is necessary. So this is what preliminary pages contains. So we first discuss about quantitative report, the main body. So introduction, so the theoretical framework, that is why you need to study, that is rationale of the study, what is the statement of the problem, and also define certain terms which are difficult to understand, and then lay down the objectives. Based on these objectives, you will have tentative solution in your mind, that will be actually hypothesis. Finally, at the end, it will come to know that you are accepting or rejecting the hypothesis. And further, scope and delimitations of the study, and importance of the study, how helpful for the future research and researchers. So all these things will be covered in introduction. Next will be review of related literature. So this is actually a very important part, because here you are referring related research which are already done in this field in detail, and then based on this, what extra you are doing in this research you will have to write in detail again, and how different your research would be that you could bring out. All these things will be in the review of related literature. So methodology. So here actually it will be different for quantitative and qualitative research. For quantitative, what happens is, so design and research method you will specify, and population and sample will be there, and different statistical tools you use. So what are those different statistical tools you will be using? All those things will be mentioned. And data analysis, actually analyzing the statistical information that we have obtained using different statistical tools, that is actually data analysis, and techniques of data analysis will be there. So all those things will be covered. And finally, after doing all those things, then results and conclusions. So based on this, you come up with some results and conclusions. Obviously based on the data analysis, you will come up with some results and conclusion. So based on conclusions also, so you may have some recommendations to make further. So finally, bibliography and appendices, if it is there, okay, so it will be included. So this is how for quantitative report it goes. But whereas for qualitative report, as I said, preliminary page is somewhat same, it won't be changed, but in introduction there will be a change. So you define your general problem statement in introduction, and also preliminary research reviews you will be adding there, and foreshadow problems, you will significance of the study will be you are mentioning there, and delimitations of the study and importance of the study, how helpful for the future research and researchers, everything will be in the introduction. So you will write all these things in detail, so in introduction itself. Then design and methodology, as I said, it will be different. So here you select the site and then understand the role of researcher. So understand the role of researcher and also purposeful or theoretical sampling. So and then again data collection strategies will be different. So in that data analysis, qualitative data analysis, which is much applicable to the humanities. So qualitative data analysis which is much applicable to the humanities in this case, but it will be different in quantitative as we saw. And then presentation of the findings, that would be analytical interpretation of the research that you have done. So, and also finally after that bibliography and appendices. So for journal article, title, author's name and affiliations, so you start with all these things. Then you will write an abstract. Abstract has to be summary of the article, like. So very few lines it has to be over. Then introduction. In this introduction you will cover case area or study area that you are trying to incorporate, that you have to write. Then in method, what method you are applying should be in brief, not the way in case of thesis or report. So it has to be sample size, tools and procedures you are using, you will mention there. And results and conclusions, as usually here also comes, you will write, and recommendation and discussions if possible, so you allow, and references, those actually you referred in the article. Here you have to know that references and bibliography are different. So the references are nothing but your cited ones in the article, but in bibliography, along with the cited ones, along with that, there is a difference between reference and bibliography, as I written there. So the references are the actually who referred in the article, but the bibliography can have extra. So that is your actually cited ones and also consulted ones, references, and also useful information containing articles or books, anything that you may not referred in your articles. So that is called bibliography. Means bibliography contains all these three: cited articles and also consulted ones which are useful, and also useful information references. All those things will be included in bibliography, but in references only cited ones will be there. So those actually you referred in the article will be there in references. Now we concentrate on the style of writing a research report. So you have to follow these things while writing a research report. So you have to concentrate in all these aspects while writing. So the first thing is rules of spelling, capitalization, punctuation and typing. So you have to take care of all these things while writing. And numbers less than 10 to be expressed in words. So it's very important actually. And also left margin as 1.5 inch and rest as 1 inch you can leave. And double spacing with Times New Roman fonts, and font size standard 12 point. And maybe some people will leave 1.5 spacing also. That depends on the supervisor and the student. The next thing is direct quotations not over 3 lines in length are included in the text and enclosed in quotation marks. So that has to be in a quotation marks. So it should be like running matter. So in the text itself, with quotation marks you have to write, that's it. But if it is more than 3 lines, then you separate with double spaced paragraph and intended 5 spaces from left margin without quotation marks. So write it as a separate paragraph with 2 line spacing, and intended 5 spaces from left margin, and don't use quotation marks for. So that is how you write. Then it, as we all know, it has to be creative, clear, concise and comprehensive. Next also, you should not have subjective or emotional statements in the report, and avoid he or she, avoid personal pronouns I and me like and active voice, avoid colloquial, means not formal or literary expressions, so just avoid that. Don't use should not, can't, constructed form of modal auxiliaries, you don't use that. And also past tense and present perfect tense are used for review of related literature and description of methodology, procedure, results. So past tense for review of literature and present perfect tense for methodology or procedure of results. And present tense is appropriate for discussing results and presenting the conclusions and interpretations. And obviously for recommendations, so you use future tense. So take care of all these things. And also in the references part, while referring, so instead of using titles and first names of the cited authors, so better use last name is needed. Okay, so instead of using titles and first names of the cited authors, you use last name. So, and in articles, usually journal articles, we will give a number, and because everyone will be a cited ones. But in case of bibliography, along with that other things will be there. So that actually maybe in thesis or maybe in dissertation you can use a bibliography, but a journal article or something like that, so you have to go for references, means only cited articles has to be in a reference part. Now I want to talk on grammar check. So basically in grammar check, the spelling and the sentence grammar and also punctuation, those things you have to take care of. And further advanced grammar check is nothing but you have to take care of readability. Readability in the sense, so usually in Word you will have a sentence with green line underlined, means there must be some problem with the sentence what we have. So in that case what you have to do is, so you have to rewrite the sentence a bit. So there will be some grammar mistake will be there, that has to be corrected, means those things you have to remove to make the document readable. And word choice, for example, you can use very quick, for very quick you can use rapid, instead of using very often you can use frequently, maybe very pretty you can use beautiful, like that. So you can make a word choice of. And also inclusive language. Inclusive language in the sense you have to as an example I will tell you, instead of using handicapped person or something like that, you can use people with disability, something like that. So that is actually called the inclusive language. So formality level means don't use WhatsApp kind of typing anywhere in the document. For example, for you, instead of typing you type you. So that is not the not acceptable in the documents. So you have to take care of those things also. Fluency is, instead of using do, you better use make. So those kind of words will be good to read. So and makes the document neat and readable. And next, plagiarism detection, we talk about these things in detail. Before that, I just want to check all these things, means all the grammar. We have free softwares and also free and paid softwares. So free and paid in the sense, I will tell you some of the softwares which free versions also available, and that can be upgraded to the paid versions also. And obviously the paid versions will be have more options. For example, the free versions of the grammar check softwares are Cerebens, Grammarix, Reverso, and small CO tools, etc. Like that, all these things are free versions. Free and paid versions are Grammarly software, Quillbot, Pro Writing Aid, Whitesnake. So Whitesnake is actually the multilingual, means you can use for multi languages. So that is multilingual software. And also Ginger and Language Tool, etc. So all these are free and paid versions, means there are free versions also available, and you can upgrade it to paid versions. Obviously paid versions will be having more options, and I suggest always to go for the paid versions if possible, to make the document readable and beautiful. So next we talk about plagiarism a bit. What is a plagiarism is first what we have to do. Understand. Stealing one's information, thoughts, ideas, tables, figures, examples, etc. all we can call as a plagiarism. Actually in India we have 1957 Copyright Act. So similarly different acts will be there in different countries. So to avoid plagiarism, the first thing is you try to understand what is plagiarism thoroughly, and also time bound. Time bound in the sense, always start early and make sure you have more time to prepare a document or to prepare a thesis or something like that. And proper citations. So if you are copying or using anybody's work, then cite or refer that work in your document. So then it won't be a plagiarism. So then always present your own work. So that is actually that will obviously avoid the plagiarism. Softwares to check plagiarism. Text based or source code based means what I want to explain first. Text based means there are some softwares like means online search engine is there, PlagAware, and PlagScan, which is an online software with unique signature, and also checkforplagiarism.net, which is a fingerprint based approach. Means fingerprint based means small matches of phrases. So in a document, so in other document to your document, if you check, some small phrases will be matching. So such kind of things we call it as a fingerprint based plagiarism. And also Authenticate, that is actually the first online plagiarism checker in 30 languages. Means so different languages we can have a plagiarism check in Authenticate. In fact, this is actually comes under Turnitin software itself. We talk about Turnitin later. And also plagiarismdetection.org, which has its own database. So from that it will check the plagiarism of your document. And source code based tools means it is computer codes, means lexical similarities. Lexical means word or vocabulary of a computer language. And also parsed tree means diagrammatic representation of the parsed structure of a sentence or a string, something like that. So program dependent and matrix, all these are actually source code based tools. So text based tools and also source code based tools are available there. So anyway, these are some of the free and paid softwares are there to check plagiarism. The frees are Urkund, CopyLeaks, Plagiarisma, Plagiarism Checker, DupliChecker, Plagium, PlagScan, etc. All these are freely available, and paid versions are Turnitin, QuickText, Compaudio, Studium, Scribble, Bibme, etc. all these things. But in India, Turnitin software is now being used by MHRD to check PhD thesis plagiarisms. So better we have to use Turnitin nowadays. In India, MHRD is asking us to check in Turnitin softwares. Types of plagiarism. Complete or global plagiarism, that means just complete paper copied. So literally you are copying whole paper and putting your name and trying to publish. That is called complete or global plagiarism. Paraphrasing plagiarism means just rephrasing a piece of text, sentence, paragraphs in your own words and publish, which is not ethical actually. So that is called paraphrasing plagiarism. Next will be metaphor or verbatim plagiarism, that means copy and paste. Copy someone's text and paste that as your own. So using same phrase of someone without quoting his name, you are presenting in your document. So that is called metaphor plagiarism. Idea or patchwork or mosaic plagiarism we call. So that means when we copy ideas and thoughts from different sources and putting them together to create a new text and representing that as your own, that is also called as idea plagiarism. 404 or 404 error or illegitimate plagiarism means you copied from text somewhere that does not exist now. So in that case, so we call it as 404 error or illegitimate plagiarism. You can see sometimes in online, if you are opening a new page or something like that, so you will get 404 error, something like that. So that means you already you will copy some text or something from somewhere, but that document is not available right now. So such a thing is called as 404 error plagiarism or illegitimate plagiarism. So self plagiarism is, so you are copying or reusing your own work which you have already or previously published documents. So you are using your own work or you are copying your own work in another document. So in different documents is also called as self plagiarism. So this is actually called as academic dishonesty, because you have already taken a credit by publishing your work previously. Again you are presenting the same in a new document So it is not acceptable what they will say. That is called self-plagiarism. Accidental plagiarism. So accidental plagiarism, it is nothing but without knowingly, unknowingly you have used some of the phrases or some of the sentence or something like that. So in your document, such a plagiarism is called accidental plagiarism. Regarding self-plagiarism, please go through the notification from UGC dated 20th April 2020. That document is available online. You can check in UGC website. And also for self-plagiarism and accidental plagiarism, you will always have a second chance, in the sense university will or any institution will allow you to recheck if it is a self-plagiarism or accidental plagiarism and ask you to remove those things and resubmit. But in all the other cases, it won't be the same. Finally, we talk about citation style. Citations are very important mainly to avoid plagiarism, and also builds your ideas are shared by other scholars studying in the same field. So there are different citation styles. So we just talk about APA and MLA, and we list some of the citation styles of different subjects also. First, we talk about APA, that is American Psychological Association, so which is originated in 1929. Basically, we use it for social sciences. In that, criminal justice, economics, law, business, and also medical subjects also, nursing and psychology. In this, page number will appear in the upper right hand corner and title in the upper left corner. Initials of the first and middle name and the last name will be used. Means initials of first and middle name will be there, and we will display the last name fully. And year in focus means in the middle of the text it looks like author name, year, comma, page number, something like that. So one of the example I have given, S. Ramanujan, that is Srinivasa Ramanujan, 1914, the paper published here, and title of the paper is Modular Equations and Approximations to Pi. The journal name is there, QJ Math dot, short form that is, and issue and volume, that is 45, page number 350 to 372. So this is how it appears in the references or bibliography. But in the middle of the text while referring, it looks like big bracket, inside that author's name, that is S. Ramanujan, comma, year, that is 1914, comma, page number 350 to 372. Like that it will look. So this is called the APA style. Further, the MLA style, that is Modern Language Association of America. It was first published in 1985 and mainly used for humanities and literature. And references usually or bibliography are arranged in a alphabetical order. So alphabetical in the sense for the last name. We follow the last name for alphabetical order. So example, again the same example I have taken. You can see here the year is missing. So here it will be, year will be in the end actually. So S. Ramanujan, then title of the paper Modular Equation Approximation to Pi. So journal QJ Math, comma, issue or volume 45 and year 1914 and page number 352 372. This is how it looks in reference or bibliography. and in the middle of the text while referring it will be in a common bracket, that is yes Ram version, and year, comma 1914, something like that it looks. So there are different kind of citation styles for different subjects. For example, for mathematics we use American Mathematical Society, AMS, and for physics we have AIP, American Institute of Physics, and for chemistry ACS, American Chemical Society, CSE, Council of Scientific Editors for biology, and ASA, American Sociological Association for sociology, and APSA for American Political Science Association, that is for political science and international studies. LSA for Linguistic Society of America, that is for linguistics. AP means Associated Press, that is for journalism and public relations. Harvard Business School for business oriented ones. And also for medicine, AMA and NLM. AMA means American Medical Association and NLM means National Library of Medicine. Similarly, for legal studies, you have ALWD, that is Association of Legal Writing Directors, and Blue Book and Moron Book. Like that, you will be having a different styles. So most of the time we use APA when we are using for social sciences or something like that. For mathematics we use AMS, American Mathematical Society, as I said. So for physics and chemistry they will use their own citation styles what they have. So, and one more is there called Chicago. Their footnotes will be coming. So there actually in the text there will be some star or some small number will be mentioned, and in the same page footnote the details of that will be given. Such means that kind of referencing is called Chicago style. And also you have different kind of styles. For example, we have Vancouver style. So most of our referencing will be actually Vancouver style in mathematics I am talking about. So means in the middle of the text where we want to refer, it will be just a big bracket with number will come, and the details of that number referencing means number, the details of that reference will be in the same number, it will be in the reference or bibliography part. It will be displayed in full. So such a kind of style is called Vancouver style. So like that people can use according to your subject you can choose your citation style. So that's it. I just want to thank the coordinator Sri Ajay from GFGC Chandrayapatna for the opportunity, and as I said the principal and also IQAC coordinator again I thank. So thank you once again.